Today's the day. I have waited 3 years for a dream guitar. I hired a local luthier, a famous luthier, to make a dream guitar, but not my dream, his dream. I gave him a blank slate and a blank check, and I said, "You've been making guitars for 30 years. I bet you want to make a guitar that nobody's asked you to make yet." So instead of making a guitar per order, telling him what to do, I thought, dream! I supplied him with books. We had meetings. I saw a sketch. I saw a couple ideas. At one point, I saw a plank of wood. Over time, it began to shape into a guitar, but I have not seen the guitar. I have seen a couple photos, and the most recent one took my breath away. I swear. I have guitars. I have a lot of guitars. I've seen guitar collections. I've seen other guitars that this guy has made. But this is the dream guitar. It incubated in his mind, came from inspiration. I funded the dream. I'm going to go see it for the first time right now. We're here. We're at Tony Noble's. I'm going in now. I got gifts. I'm going to bribe them. I'm going to make sure I see this guitar. 3 years we've been waiting. 3 years, and today's the day. Where's the man? We're going up. There's probably a metaphor here. This is symbolic.
This is
Guitars on the walls.
lineage.
This is real. There's sawdust on the floor. Sawdust,
The
wood.
patron saint guards the
The
entrance.
patrons. The loudest movie in the world. Right there. Wow. Oh man, is that the case?
Yeah,
God, that's a beautiful case.
this is the case. He had offered one that they had made, just an odd one, and then it didn't fit right. So he said, "Well, I'll just make you whatever." So I said, "Okay."
So it's
Black
one of
and-
a.
Yeah, black and gold.
Oh, that's
kind.
good. Black and gold.
Yeah.
It's a Hoffy case. It's a one of a kind, right?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
made for this guitar.
Oh yeah, it's the only one he's ever made in this color. You ready?
Well, wait a minute. I'm delaying this moment for me as well as everybody that might watch this later. Tell me a little bit more about the incubation process. You went through, your dreaming process, because a couple times you sketched out something. Because I took photos whenever you gave me a chance to take a photo, and I had a sketch of an idea. And you talked about an Iceman guitar. What was that?
That was an Ibanez, a guitar that they made starting in the 70s, which was just a kind of odd shape that I always liked because it had a certain motion and a blend of masculine and feminine in that it's got some curves, some points, and it sits on your knee right when you're sitting down. I really like that in a guitar. And also, people don't ever realize when you have a guitar, the relation of where the bridge and the frets are to where you hold is important because your hand at the first position could be at any one of these points. And so finding a guitar that sits on your knee right and the bridge is oriented so that your hand is in a comfortable place is not as easy as it sounds. A lot of things are wrong. A lot of things are wrong. And so I liked it because of that as well. And then I changed it. Like I said, I really like in design, any design that has motion, that implies motion sitting still, I really like. Like cars.
I was just thinking cars. I have cars that look like they can get a speeding ticket when they're parked.
Exactly, right?
Because of their design.
That's good design, right? So the book and the thinking in that style kind of brought me here.
Okay.
Because I thought that was a good place to start. And and then also in execution, bending wood has certain limits. And I tried to disregard them and just make it the way I...
Oh, I love that. I try to disregard the limits of bending wood. I love this.
And I think I bent way better than I expected that I could. I got it to work.
Really? Wait a minute, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is a concept I just want to stress, though. You kind of violated the rules because you thought that there's certain parameters that you can't go past. You can't bend the wood beyond something. but you decided to disregard those, and as a result, you bent the wood in ways that surprised you.
Absolutely. I made my mold with
so cool.
the corners I wanted, and then I figured, well, if I can't hit the corners, at least, I've got the right shape. And I didn't think I could, but I kept working on it. And I had to make a series of, it's hard to explain, but there are forms where one's a positive and one's a negative, so it squeezes to shape. And normally you just have a mold and you put the side in and kind of clamp it and it holds. But to do this, I had to make a number of smaller ones to make each particular bend on its own before I could even get it in a mold. Like, I've got probably 6 positive negative sets sitting around here that I made. And then, you have to bend it on an iron.
Yeah.
Wet it down, see if you can force it in a mold and clamp it, and then let it re-dry.
Wow.
And just bending these sides took 2 weeks, which normally on an acoustic guitar, that's 2 hours.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed it was 2 hours compared to 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, a regular guitar just has that, 3 curves, and you can do that in one setting. But this, having as many sharp ones as it has, it took like 3 days for each curve.
Wow.
Because you couldn't do it all at once.
Wow. So patience is a virtue here.
Absolutely.
And relentless persistence is another one.
Absolutely.
Well, I have seen a couple photos along the way. I've not seen the guitar, but the photos I saw took my breath away.
Great.
And I only showed it to 2 people, Matthew Dixon, who's running the camera, and Daniel Barrett, producer for most of my albums. And they're all in awe. We all can't wait.
All right.
Okay. I'm talking about hyperventilating.
All right. So it starts off with, this is quilted redwood, which is rare on its own. But this was a log that sunk in the river. We don't know when. So they found it in the bottom of the river and pulled it up. So
what river? What area?
Oregon.
Okay.
It's from Oregon.
Beautiful. Look at the lines in that thing.
And it's book matched. Wow. And the wood. I'm just going to start with the wood.
Yeah.
So it started there, and then the back is Brazilian rosewood.
Wow.
That's carved.
Wow.
And this is a single piece. I found one single piece of Brazilian rosewood, 15 inches wide, 1 inch thick, so that I could carve it.
I think that was the plank I saw at one point.
And this came from a friend of mine whose father-in-law bought this wood traveling in Brazil in the 1970s and shipped it back to himself and didn't use it.
Wow.
And my friend inherited it and knew where to go right with it. So I acquired it.
What a story. Oh.
And this mahogany is my personal wood that I've been holding 15 years.
Wow.
Starts with that. And the sides are the same Brazilian as the fingerboard. And those all came from the same plank. Like they're all the same actual plank of wood. And it's all bound in flame maple, which is also, you have to bend. So what I'm talking about, how it's hard, is bending something that's like a 3/4 inch radius. That's
I see what you mean.
Unheard of.
Right.
Without it cracking, because it's flaming maple and the grain is already doing that.
I have a new appreciation for this.
And I got the F holes. We'll call them F holes.
Yeah, we talked about why did they always use F? Why were they F holes? It's like, why the frick were they all?
I don't know.
So you did something else.
I did something else. I wanted the motion. I wanted the forward motion.
Lines on a car there. They're like wings.
Right.
From my angle. Yeah. Okay.
The inlays, mother of pearl and abalone, just different species. There's, like 6 pieces in each one, 5 in each one, and then anyway. And the frets, the frets are a 2 temperament Formula 1, which is the Swedish inventor. It's a Swedish patent that's held. They're bronze hypoallergenic frets.
Does that also explain their design?
Oh, absolutely. The whole design of them is to make them play more in tune.
Is that the reason for this? Now, instead of the straight across, because of that design, it's got to play more in tune.
Absolutely.
Do you play it differently? In other words, when you're playing chords and so forth, you're still going to the same place, still making the same
exactly the same
structure.
You just want to relax.
Oh, I like that.
The
you
thing
just want to relax.
With straight frets, a lot of times people start discovering how to bend things a particular way to make their E chord. That's not the case with this guitar. You just put your fingers where they go and relax, and it'll play in tune. There's none of that.
I got chills. I got chills hearing these kind of things. This is amazing.
And on top of that, the tuners, they're locking tuners, and they're like an 18-to-1 gear ratio, which is double.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that much more a fine adjustment.
Wow.
So with all those things, it just plays in tune better. And also,
you just accidentally hit a string, and I heard beautiful sound come out of it when it's unplugged. It's just sitting here as an acoustic. The floating.
Yeah, I made a non-adjustable bridge, so all the tone transfers. I learned that. I started paying attention to Ken Parker, who's a genius, and he advised me on non-adjustable bridges being the way to go, and I've done it, and I love it, and it just sounds better. And that's also why there's carbon fiber hidden in this neck.
Ah, okay.
A lot of it.
Okay.
Just stability and sound.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps the neck from flexing and makes all the sound drive the top instead. Which is also the reason that I made this tremolo out of Bigsby parts and attached it down to the top rather than to the end. Because this way the pressure of the strings actually vibrates the top.
Mm-hmm.
Here where it counts.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the center that actually drives the sound.
Mm-hmm. I think the only instruction I gave you when I challenged you with making a dream guitar was, I really like a Bigsby / vibrato, put some sort of arm on whatever you create.
Yeah, that was the only parameter.
And I would have let go of that if you had said, I have an idea and it doesn't use that.
Yeah.
But I like seeing it. It's like it's like the handle to a race car. It's ready to go.
You're right.
And I also think at some point you asked about the volume, and we decided we didn't want any other knobs but that.
Right.
And Guitar Monk Matthew Dixon had something to say about that as well. We both all agreed that we basically used the volume.
Yeah.
So let's simplify it.
Well, and I think that was a great idea, because what I did is I enlisted the best pickup maker there is, and he knows how to make a pickup, and there's no point in messing with his work.
Oh, okay.
That's the way I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am super duper duper happy with that pickup. It sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if you'll notice, instead of it being a bridge pickup, it's moved slightly forward. I voiced it by moving it and listening and getting it where I wanted it, based on his design and my verbal instructions to him. And
so what would you call that kind of a pickup, or the placement of it?
It's a bridge pickup that I just cheated toward the neck a little, like about a ½ inch, to give it a little more roundness, a little less harshness.
Okay.
And I just kind of moved it until it sounded right to me. But I told him where I was going to put it, and he wound it for that.
I see. Okay.
And it's I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement to get this pickup.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I like that.
One of those things. I know, right? And that's Bob Palmieri. It's a Duneland pickup made by Bob Palmieri. And it's the only one of these like this, too. I told him I wanted it in a nickel cover, no holes, and to mount like a Filtertron.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it and went back a few days, and he goes, okay, I know what you want, and he came up with this. So this is the only pickup like this in the world, too.
You once said that altogether, before I ever got here, before I even saw some of the finished guitar pictures, you said there is no guitar like this.
Oh, absolutely.
On the planet.
No.
There is nothing like this.
No one else would be stupid enough to try to do this.
Look at the end result.
Oh,
though.
no, I agree.
They're going to have to reprint that archtop book over there and put this one in it.
That'd be
Jeez.
great.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the guitar heavy?
Oh, no.
That's because you have carbon fiber. It's light, of course, but it sounded like you know with additions and everything.
No, I detest heavy guitars.
Well, I don't want a heavy guitar. I
know.
played a baritone saxophone and I had to go to a chiropractor.
Right.
It's like that's too much.
No, I think everybody's surprised when they feel it. I don't know.
Jesus. Oh, it's a floating guitar. I was
Yeah.
expecting to have to weightlift
I think
to
we're
some more.
I think I'm under 5 pounds.
That is remarkable by itself.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this. It feels at home. It feels at home. It's so light
And
and so beautiful. Is this an Access?
this is an Access. This is
Okay, gotcha. Oh my, look at that.
and
The
the
inner
bridge
workings.
doesn't appear those screws, so I can get a little intonation adjustment on it.
Let me-
So
Might want to take a peek.
it's not visible, but under the bridge there's just enough so you can
Mm-hmm.
maneuver for intonation. Grain lines up. I like
Is
that.
it magnetic?
It is.
Oh, did you get that idea from that one guitar I
did.
showed you?
So I bought some neodymium magnets. and
I love that
figured
you did
out.
that. I love that you did that. So what do we got? So it's got volume and everything as an acoustic. Of course.
Yeah.
Are you set up to plug it in?
Absolutely.
There's a beautiful tone to it. And so, actually, I'm not even noticing the frets being
No,
different at all.
You won't notice that.
I didn't even notice it because I can't see it.
We didn't tune it. I'm just saying,
I'm impressed.
this guitar starts more in tune than a regular guitar.
Oh, I
so
see.
when
You
it
actually
drifts
tuned it.
out.
I didn't even think about it. I just thought it's tuned.
Yeah.
It's out of the.
No, you shouldn't have to. That's but I'm just saying it starts more in tune and you got further to drift before you ever hear it. And I like that pickup. I like the way I have a friend that says you can hear the air in between the wrappings of the string. But that little boing and how you can hear that with that pickup. It's that clean and strung it up. And I've had strings on it for a while.
This is a stunning work of art.
Thank
You have made a dream come true. You have accomplished the challenge. You get your trophy, which has Macallan on it and 18 on it. You have done well.
Thank you. I love it.
Oh, man.
See what I'm saying about you don't have to pull it in tune. Normally when you play that, you have to shake it.
That's beautiful, Tony.
Thank you. Yeah, I was happy that it turned out that light.
It's very light. Yeah.
and you can just feather it. Or get nasty with it.
Those play in tune.
Yeah. Oh my.
He said he had to know what it was going to be called if he was going to build a pickup for it.
Nothing better than another guitar. It's the dream guitar.
Woke up this morning, found a note above my head. Said today's the day.